Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Tonight's a great treat for us here on TCM. Our guest programmer is Nathan Lane, the great Nathan Lane, whose film work includes The Birdcage and the voice of Timon in The Lion King, and whose many Broadway hits include Guys and Dolls, The Odd Couple, also A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and, of course, The Producers, the last two bringing him Tony Awards. Welcome back, Nathan.
Thank you, Robert.
Good to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Great to be here.
Now, Nathan's final choice for us is a silent film for which Charlie Chaplin wore many hats. He wrote it, he directed it, he edited the film, he wrote the music, he also stars in it. It's Chaplin's 1931 classic, City Lights. Now, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised that you were a Chaplin fan. Why this Chaplin film, though, of all of them?
Oh, I don't know. It's a masterpiece. That.
That's enough, yeah.
It was Orson Welles' favorite film, and I think it was Chaplin's favorite of all of his films. You know what? I remember they showed it in high school, in my high school.
Really?
And I was, obviously, I was familiar with Chaplin, but I had not seen this film, and watching it with a bunch of high school kids, these tough teenagers, and I thought, I wonder how they'll react. And from the moment it started, they were laughing uproariously, and then really quiet for the serious stuff. And, you know, the blend of pathos and comedy in this film is masterful, and he never overdoes it, and he never once, you know, there's always, once it gets a little poignant, he'll undercut it with some humor, you know, when she's, you know, with the she's got the yarn, and there's a loose thread from his vest, and she starts putting that in, or she's knitting, and he doesn't want to say anything because she can't see.
The flower girl.
Yeah, the flower, Virginia Cheryl, and apparently they didn't like each other. I mean, she was quoted as saying, I didn't like him and he didn't like me. But this, it was, you know, they were now, this was in 28. And so, you know, silent film was on the way out, and everyone was, you know, talking about the jazz singer, and everything was changing, and they were becoming obsolete, and yet he held on to this. I mean, I believe he was quoted as saying that talkies would only last a few years. Good old Charlie. It was just a fad. And he probably knew it was the end, and yet thought this was the best way of telling this story, and I think he was right, and proven right. And, you know, because he owned the studio, he could spend the amount of time that he did on
financing the film.
And financing the film, and you know, the notion that it took him a year to figure out that first scene between him and the blind girl, and how she would realize or think he was a wealthy man, and the notion of the car door slamming, and then, you know, and him realizing that she's blind, and all of that stuff, which is so, it just seems inevitable when you watch it, and yet it took him a year to figure it out.
Right.
I mean, you could argue and say, well, there are funnier sequences in the Gold Rush or Modern Times, but I just think you know, there's some very funny stuff. The prize fight is hilarious, and and I love the restaurant scene too, when he and Harry Myers, you know, the drunken millionaire, who only is his best friend when he's drunk, and when he sobers up, he doesn't know who he is.
But you don't expect it to end with that kind of punch that it has.
Oh, no. I mean, it's just, it really just, knocks you out.
But let's have a look at the movie.
Yeah.
Here it is, Charlie Chaplin as the Little Tramp in a film from 1931, City Lights.